What's going on, everyone? If you watched my previous video, I'm just doing an update on the truck build. I just want to go over some stuff that I've done since that video. If you haven't seen the first video, I would just go watch that first, so some of this stuff makes more sense. In the first video, we went over basically everything on the outside of the truck: suspension, the body work, the fiberglass, all the panels and everything that we did. So in this video, I just want to go over some of the stuff that we changed. First thing that we changed since then was the seats. These are King Ranch seat covers. I didn't want to buy brand new seats or try to get these out of a King Ranch truck because they're pretty expensive. So I found these seat covers. They're just like factory seat covers. So I just pulled off the gross, dirty cloth that was on before. And they're basically just like cat skins, where you just take everything apart and then put these over them. So they're not like the cheap slip-on ones. I had to completely take apart the seat and put these on there. They're pretty reasonably priced, and for what they are, they're going to be just as good as any other leather seats. The other thing that we did was the steering wheel. These are really common. Pretty much every F-150 now has these. It's just an Amazon carbon fiber steering wheel. It does have the holes on it for the paddle shifters, but I don't have those, so there's nothing in there. The other thing that we did on the interior of the truck, I mentioned it in the first video, but I don't know if we got a very good shot of it because it was sunny, but I did upgrade the gauge cluster on there, so it has the larger display that come in the limiteds, the Platinums and the Raptors factory, but I didn't have it, so I just had the small screen. Just swapped over to that one because it looks nicer. Got everything completely coated. I just went into Forescan and converted over my mileage and everything so it's accurate. The other thing that we did was a switch panel system. It's just an aux beam switch panel. I've used it before, but I liked this sleeker design one. So all the lights, all the accessory lighting that I have on the truck is all ran through there. There's a couple extra ones for stuff I want to add that I don't have yet, but yeah, I really like those. They're super easy to install. There's a company, I think it's called Rad Designs, that makes like a bracket that you can put in there. I did that on my last truck build, but on this one, I was able to just kind of make one myself. There was nothing wrong with that previous one. I just didn't feel like spending money on something I could do myself, so I got it mounted. I ran the cord all through the engine bay, and it goes to a pretty nice, basically like Switch Pro's switch panel, so you don't have to worry about like crappy wiring all over the place. It's just all centralized to this one panel right here. So you just run your positive and negatives to the, and then it's all labeled super nice too. So say like 1 through 6, so you know which button goes with which lights. So that makes it super easy. I wired up, I have 4 Baja designs behind the grill wired together, so the ambers come on at the same time and then the clears come on at the same time. On the sides, we have the rigid lights that come in the Raptor bumper. These ones are wired to the factory fog light switch, so I didn't have to do anything with that. That was really easy. And these are wired up to that switch panel. I wanted to be able to have them set up that way because that's how Raptors come as well. This one is on the auxiliary switches that they have, and then this one is on that fog light switch. Other than that, for the front, it's basically all the same thing. Haven't changed anything else on there. Did get the actual latch for it because the one on my truck didn't work, so this one actually works now. I mentioned it before, but the gear selector is a King Ranch one too, so that one matches the brown leather on there. And then when I went through on Forescan and updated the gauge cluster, I also updated the CarPlay on there, so it's all updated to the current version. The last 2 things that we did was I ended up ordering a factory Raptor third brake light, and then I got the bulletproof diesel chase light system on there, so that's all wired up to the switch as well. I have it on the flashing mode. I just think it looks better than the steady light. Since they're smaller, it's probably easier to see. Not really a mod or anything cool, but I did put a bed cover on there just because I don't have a whole lot of storage. I don't have a garage or anything, so I want stuff to be able to go in the bed of the truck and be protected from rain. What I did last weekend, so I guess it's a good thing I waited to do this video, was the taillights. Went with the full LED Raptor taillights. Before, I just had the base model, like XLT halogen lights. And I mentioned in the first video that when I wired them up, they didn't really work how I wanted them to work, because I went from a 2-bulb halogen light on my truck to a 3-bulb halogen light, and it just, I didn't have enough wires to make it work. But with these, it was actually easier. So everything works how it's supposed to. The running light is the nice LED that goes around. My reverse and my blinker and my brake light are all wired up. So that actually worked out better, and they look a lot better. So I'm happy with that. The truck is kind of done for now. I mentioned in the first video that there's some other stuff I want to do. I'll go over it again because a lot of people on my Instagram have been confused. The bedsides are F-150. I had to do this because they don't make, unfortunately, a wider Raptor bedside for when you have a 6.5 foot bed, because Raptors only come with a 5.5 foot bed. Plan in the future is to shorten the frame that foot so I can get the matching +2 Raptor fiberglass, because I like the style of the Raptor fiberglass better. The whole front end is all Raptor, and that's what we want on the rear too, because these don't look bad, but I just like the Raptor styling better, and I wanted the shorter bed, like how the 2nd gen Raptor Super Cab came. But when you get an F-150, you can't get that short bed with the Super Cab, unfortunately. I also want to do bigger tires and a Raptor rear axle. We have a spacer on there right now just to get us to the matching width of the front. A lot of people don't like the stance of this truck. I understand you want it to be wider and like all the SVC or HM or all those cool guy builds, but it costs a lot of money. I did order spacers for the front because I do think the front needs a little bit more width, so this will get pushed out a little bit. Just want to stick with 35s for now, and then in the future when we have some more money and some more parts, I do want to go to 37s, and then I'll re-gear. It's just expensive to re-gear 4-wheel drive trucks because you got to do a front diff and a rear diff. So I do want to go to a 3.0 coilover setup in the future as well, and probably a bypass on the rear with a bypass rack, but that's way in the future. I want to do a full tube front bumper, and then I can do a chase rack for the bypass shocks in the rear when I do the same thing, because I want to get a welder and do all that myself. I'm not going to have a shop keep my truck for a month or whatever to get all that work done when I'd rather just learn. I think that's it. If you like it, like the video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the description below. If you don't like how it looks, good thing it's not your truck.